Welcome to the Good Morning from the Chicken Coop podcast with Kim Johnson, your creative strategist and master mindset coach. Filled with inspiration, distinctions, perspectives, and possibilities, we help you to cultivate a mindset that leads you to create the best version of yourself you could ever imagine. Join Kim every morning from one of her favorite happy places, her chicken coop, along with all her chickens.
Hey everybody, good morning from the chicken coop. So you might hear some strange noises this morning because I got lots of baby chicks running around here and a lot of broody chickens asking to sit on more eggs. It's like baby heaven over here. Today, we are talking about the power of being all in. So what do I mean when I'm talking about all in? So when someone is all in with something, they are giving it 100% of their effort. They are giving it, or as close to 100%, or what they think is 100% of their effort. And I am under the impression that most of us have a skewed view of what that really means. And in our heads, we will react to whatever it is that we want to work on, whatever it is we're putting ourselves into, and we'll say, oh no, I'm giving it my all. But the reality is we are not giving it our all. And maybe this comes from the fact that we haven't set high standards for ourselves. Maybe it comes from the fact that we've never thought about our standards. Maybe it just comes from the fact that we're just on autopilot, which is what I really think happens for most of us. We go into a state of mind where we're just on autopilot and we perform without having a conscious intent of doing it. Like, for instance, let's just say you're making dinner and you're going through the motions of making dinner. Now, are you really present making the dinner? Are you really like chopping the vegetables and thinking about how grateful you are for the vegetables? Are you thinking about how grateful you are to cook for your family? No, most of us are not. We're on autopilot. We're just running the motions and we are trying to get dinner done because we're thinking about the next thing. We are not all in when it comes to making the dinner. We're just getting it done. So for me, the definition of being all into something is saying I'm going to do this at 100%. And it's kind of a joke in my family, that I often say, well, go big or go home. Have I ever done anything small? No. And part of that came from just an upbringing with my dad, who was just always about being all in. If you're going to do it well. If it doesn't matter what you do, but if you're going to do it well. And I have that tendency to rate myself often. Well, that has given me great gifts in my life, because I will be honest and I will say, well, I'm showing up at 70% and I'm not doing it at all in. Now, when it comes to my coaching, I'm pretty crazy about it. Like, I am consistent as all get out because I 100% focus on that every day. I have my rituals. I start my day making sure I'm set up the right way. When my clients see me, that first client gets the same quality of a session as the last client for the day. And it's partly because I tell myself all the time that I am focused on being 100% in for everybody, because that's what everybody deserves. But it's not just my clients. I have to work on that for my family. I have to work on that for each of my children. I have to work on that with my projects that I'm doing, like my chickens, for this podcast. It's talking consistently to yourself about, am I all in, and checking in with yourself and asking, in my relationship, am I all in? Am I showing up and am I giving it my best effort? And the gift in all of this is, let's just say something goes sideways in a project that you're in, or you decide, which is, it is totally okay to decide that, I don't want to be a part of this project anymore. I don't want to be doing this anymore. It just doesn't work for me. I've run the course with it and now I'm done. We can change our minds. We can say, hey, listen, I've given this my all and now it's just not something I want to do anymore. But a lot of us will hang on too long because we think, well, I started it, now I have to finish it. But I realize I don't like it, but I'm just going to finish it because, well, I said I would. Okay, that's fine. Personal accountability, I agree with that. But you really have to discern with that, because oftentimes we get hung up and we stay too long. It's like we went to the party and we stayed too long. We overstayed our welcome. So checking in with yourself and asking that question, am I at 100%? Am I performing at 100%? Is the first step. The second step is, well, what would have to happen? Because if you say no, let's assume you said no, you have to then ask yourself, well, what would have to happen for me to be at 100%? What would I need in order to be at 100%? Sometimes that simple distinction is, well, I need to have a different environment, or I need to have better tools, or I need to, set myself up better. I'm not taking good care of myself. And that, my friends, is probably one of the biggest things I run into, is that people are not taking good care of themselves. They think they are, but they're not. They're not taking the time to pause. They're not taking the time for introspection. They're not taking the time to focus on things that are meaningful to them. Hundreds of years ago, we as human beings had something called hobbies, and boy, were they awesome. I have lots of them. My chickens are one of them. As far as I'm concerned, my chickens are my pets, and I adore them. Me being able to share this with all of you is just because of how much I truly love them and how much I love spending time with them and watching them. They are a hobby in the sense that they bring absolute joy, and that's why I wanted to do this podcast from here, so you could see I pour into this probably 1,000%, because I really, really love it. And this is one of the things I'm telling you to look for. Look for something that you can do that with. I don't care if it's writing, painting, reading, building things, cooking, whatever it might be. We have to get back to finding these little things that heal our souls so that we can go out there and then be 100% in everything. So today, I am asking you to take a good hard look at, are you being 100% in? And if you're not, am I playing it full out? Am I really giving it my all? And if you're not, ask what has to happen for me to do it. And be honest with yourself, because that's the trick to change, being honest with yourself. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow.